So I had a wonderful childhood and teenage years in the South. I loved the South. I loved Alabama. We had black neighbors who went to other schools because my school, Huntsville High School, was not integrated until into my beginning of my senior year, the end of my junior year.
Which was when?
So I graduated in June '68. It was integrated that year, maybe the spring of junior year, because Joel and my mother worked on helping desegregate the school system. And he was there from January of '67 to January of '68. So I think it was that spring of '67. So in my junior year, fully integrated in my senior year.
Okay. Well, so where did you live? What neighborhood did you live in?
Southeast Huntsville, Weatherly Road, across the street from a black church, which is why I had a lot of black neighbors and black children that I grew up with. And there was an elementary school, which at the time was a white elementary school at the bottom of the hill below the black church. I don't remember the name of the school. My younger sister went there. Oh. I was already in middle school at that point.
Okay.
So.
What was it? Was that area pretty rural? Did the city no?
It was suburban, but Huntsville at that time still had some of the old plantations. Jones Valley, the Jones Valley Plantation House was still there, and there were still some sharecropper homes, shacks in Jones Valley surrounding the old plantation house. So you had neighborhoods even going down to Southeast Huntsville. My house in the little area I lived in was basically suburban. But 3 streets over would be old and some sharecropper homes and an old plantation house. So it was a real mixture of housing at that point.
Okay, so there was this sort of urban core that was where that was slightly more liberal, but then there were and sort of was being the place where a lot of these sort of newer outside engineers and things were beginning to settle. But then there were these, and then there was the rural areas, which were much more conservative. But then there were these sort of middle grounds. It sounds like.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say that engineers and stuff were necessarily in the urban.
Okay.
They were, because my father worked at Redstone Arsenal. A lot of our neighbors were the engineers and scientists. Much more in the middle class level, not the wealthy up on Mount Asano level. But they were a goodly number of my neighbors were people that worked at Boeing and Brown, the fathers. Almost everyone's father worked. When I went to Huntsville High, which at the time, Butler High was there. Grissom was just being built, and I think that was it, and Huntsville High. At the time, almost every kid I knew, family worked somehow, either in space or military.